and also probably Jamie Lee Curtis at her peak as well.
Right.
Chef's kiss. That's what it was. Yeah.
I think I would like to mention that when we talked about how we are pushing features or technologies for the genre, I think Thomas was underselling a bit what we have achieved there, because we did do some pretty new things, mostly when it comes to the level generation and co-op, because of course other Sixth games, they've had levels and they've had co-op, but most of those were pretty bad co-op implementations. They were just slapped on it pretty much.
Right.
We built it from the ground up with that idea, and also procedural level generation in full 3D with multiplayer is pretty hard to do. And we also made the ambitious decision that when it comes to our level generation, we didn't want to do what most these procedural games do, which is you have like pre-made pieces, like blocks of a level you put together. We said we want also those pieces to be generated procedurally. So we essentially have like a tool inside the game that will build like 3D models from the ground up with like vertices and all of this, and texture them, and then make those into components that are put together for the level. So you don't have any repeating pieces. Everything is made from scratch every time. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Cool. Why did you choose Unity? Is this because this is what your background is in game development, or did you specifically think that Unity had all of the tools?
I had experience in it. I think that was the main thing.
Yeah. Thomas,
So
what
when
about
you make
yourself?
a game like go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, for my case, I didn't really care, but he had experience in it, and I liked working with C#.
Yeah. Have you seen Mecha Blood? Is it called Mecha Blood? It's like
Sounds like an anime.
let me Google it. I'm worried that it's the wrong thing now. Mekka Blood.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah.
I was right.
That's,
Yeah. This is the reason why, if you were to Google it and you saw it, this is the reason why I asked you about the game engine. I don't know what game engine this is made in, but to me, it's like almost like a GZ Doom version of Desecrators. And I wonder how different it is making a game like Desecrators in different game engines. Would you ever make like a sequel in a different game engine, or would you stick with Unity?
So when we talk about Unity, the thing is that we are using it, but we are mostly using it for like the tools, like how like the tool set for running your code and debugging it and looking at your objects. But Unity has a lot of built-in stuff like the physics and the lighting and all of this, but we don't really use that because the game has to look very specific aesthetic we're going for.
Yeah.
So in the end, we're building everything ourselves pretty much. So it's not really that much Unity. So I think if we were using Unreal or some other engine, we would have to build everything ourselves anyway. Unless you're talking about using Quake 2 engine or something, which already looks that way.
So
It does. That's actually the game that was on the tip of my tongue. I said Red Faction like the very first time it was still an FPS. But you're right, it was Quake 2. It was actually like the texture, the palette, and the colors and everything. I was like, it's Quake 2, isn't it? Yeah. But glad you mentioned that. I was like, I know I'm not saying one of the games I mean, but there it is.
Yeah. I think with Unity, I mean, you've worked on it for so long. You said 5 years, right? So you were clearly working on it when that whole Unity debacle happened, where they were going to charge you with all the installs and stuff. How did you react to that, man?
We were still on the old license. We rarely update the engine because we don't use any of the features. So we were fine. We're just kind of shocked that we're making a mistake like that.
I don't think anybody saw it. It was possibly one of the stupidest business decisions I've ever seen in my life. And as soon as you heard that announcement, you knew Unity had basically fucked themselves. There was no way that anyone was going to accept it. And I just thought of all the people out there, like Proteus, you mentioned Proteus earlier, that's made in Unity as well. The devs on Proteus are making an expansion to it, the Elder Veil. And I was just like, how is it going to affect all of the games that are currently in development or something? But I'm glad that they reversed the decision. I'm glad that the idiot that made it stepped down, because I think that it made the industry a better place. And right now, it's in a difficult place. Indie developers like yourselves are really the people that are holding the industry up, because AAA is destroyed. I don't know if you'd ever say like Desecrators was a colossal financial success. You were done for the rest of your life. You were rich now. If you made a sequel, would you stay true to the themes and design of what it is, or would you like go bigger and better and almost, AAA it?
Would like to go bigger, but I think when you say that, I'm just thinking about the amount of resources and most of all the amount of people you will need to make this game. And I think it's really hard to stick to a vision like a 6 game if you have 50 people working on it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't go that big. I would hire some very talented musician artists, but I would still stick with not just like a AAA high fidelity aesthetic. I would think something slightly different, but not necessarily 90s graphics.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah, but I would want to keep it focused still. I don't think it has the mass appeal that it really makes sense either to make a big, expensive 6 game. I don't really see that.
Yeah.
So maybe instead of like going bigger and wider and that sort of thing, simply giving each game its own distinctive flavor so that it stood out. So if you ended up making like 5 of them, you said you wouldn't want to do 90s graphics. So like say your first game was your 90s graphics, the second game would emulate 2000s graphics, the third game 2010 graphics or something like that. I think that would be quite a unique idea in relation to it. But, gentlemen,
All right, folks. Well, if you've been liking what you're hearing so far and you're like, where can I get one of the rare gems that is a 6 Degrees of Freedom game or 6 stuff? Well, you're in luck because we've got 5 of them to give away to you and, well, to you. At least 5, not 6. Although if we had our way, it'd be 6 in total. We'd have that perfect symmetry there. But 5 lucky mofos get a chance. And the way you enter that is just in the comments below, just say what your favorite 6 stuff is, and we'll get in touch and we'll hook you up. So yeah, free Desecrators for you, and that's all you gotta do.
Yep.
Win.
And for the people that entered last week's competition for the BioCrisis ones, we're choosing the winners tomorrow. Now that we've recorded this episode here, we're going to be reaching out to you guys. So by the time you see this episode, check the YouTube comments. I may have left a comment under your entry on there telling you that you've won a BioCrisis one. But speaking of developers, so BioCrisis' developer Jim, he asked you a question about Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna have Rafael Colantonio on, if not the next episode, then the second next episode. Yeah, either
I'll
one.
go
of
ahead.
you.
My question would be, what's your ideal game budget?
Budget? Oh.
Interesting. I like that.
Raph would be like, yeah, give me 500 million. I should be fine.
But then he made Weird West on a much smaller budget.
I know, yeah. I was looking at it earlier today. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I don't. Maybe I'm misremembering, but I don't remember the Arcane games having huge budgets comparatively, just in the scope of like their like other games.
Yeah, I think when you look at
Bethesda,
Bethesda's other games, I think the other games got a lot more budget. But the thing with Arcane, of course, it's very visually distinctive, so you can kind of cover up, the lack of any budget compared to your competition by making up for it with a distinctive art style.
Of course, I say there's not a budget, and then of course I'm not speaking of the marketing budget that Bethesda would furnish them, which is a whole thing, because you can make quite a bit happen with a huge marketing budget when you only spent so much to make a thing. So
you can, yeah. Let's talk about the future. So, give us the lowdown on what the future is for Desecrators in terms of both your immediate future. Thomas, I don't know if you want to give us an answer to that, and or if you want to give us an idea of what the long-term plan for Desecrators is.